Good old Collingwood forever. Hey, Shay, guess what? Collingwood won against Hawthorn last week by 6 points.
Did I nap through that?
But it was only a trial game.
Yeah, no, so it doesn't count then.
Yeah, no. But anyway, join us this week as we make some changes to our fantasy team and also a little bit more in-depth detail of what it's all about. Please, come over and have a look at what it's all about.
Hi guys. Okay, hi guys, Shay and Jamie here from What Shay Says with another Dream Team episode. On this episode, we are going to be showing you what we've been doing over the last week.
Yep.
Jamie's been sitting there studying the stats and all that sort of stuff because we've had what do you call it? My brain's gone. We've had the pre-season game. Each team has a pre-season game. We've had that, and we've now got some stats around that of the rookies who have played and who hasn't played.
Yeah.
So we have made some pretty big changes from the last.
And I've got it here on
He's
the.
got it all. Hang on, he's got it all written down. So we've made some changes to our team.
Yeah.
And this is what you spend most of the week and the days leading up to round one doing. We will talk a bit about a couple of things that we did get wrong in the last episode.
Yeah. So the first thing that we need to do is a little minor mistake. I said there was 3 bye rounds. Now it's indeed there's 4. So from round 12 to round 15, the byes rounds will be scattered. There'll be some teams playing and some teams not over the next 4 weeks from round 12 to round 15. However, the rule still applies in the bye round. There's still 3 trades. Now, in a normal round, like round 1, after round 1, you can trade 2 players out and add 2 players in. But when it comes to the bye round, this is where you really, really need to be looking at. I said there was a top 18 scores. It's actually 19.
Okay.
Right, because the bottom 3 scores get dropped off. So
because they're doing 4 rounds of bye rounds this year, not the usual 3.
But I made some changes to the side from the previous episode.
So before you do that, I will turn our camera off again.
So I made some changes to the side. So in the forward line, I took out Daniel Mestay and Pedler, and I added, and we'll go through the ads in a minute. So I took out Dan McStay from Collingwood and Pedler from Adelaide out in the forward line. In the midfield, I took out Callum Mills from Sydney, Menegola from Geelong, and Willis. I think he played for North Melbourne. One of the, I don't know who Willis played for, but I took Willis out. And in the defence, I took out Jones and Young. So what I've done, I've actually put...
Hang on, we'll get to that in a second. So what that's done is it's given us some more money to play with.
Yeah.
Within the remaining salary cap. As you can see, we're now down to 3,000 left in the salary cap, and that's because of these changes.
Yeah.
Which Davey's going to explain now.
So what I did, I only picked up the players that's on the field. I didn't touch the interchange bench just yet. That will be leading up to round 1, which will start Thursday week.
Which is the 16th of...
15th, 16th?
16th of March.
Yeah.
And the 15th is Mark's birthday, and that's a Wednesday.
Yeah. So my stepfather's birthday's on the day before the season starts. So, but anyway, between now and round 1 starts, you can change the side as many times you want before you finalise. Now, before I go through the players that we have put in, the partial lockout situation is that, so for instance, Richmond and Carlton plays the first game on a Thursday night. what that means, a partial lockout, the players that you have picked out of Richmond and Carlton, they will be locked in and you can't change them. Once that bounce goes down at the start of the game, that's it. The players that you pick in your fantasy side, if you've got Richmond or Carlton players, that's it. You can't change them. But however, all the other teams that you have, or players you have from other clubs, you can change them as multiple times you can. And then after that, they'll have the full lockout, which means it's all set and done. You can't change them once. But partial lockout means that those players that you have playing in that game are locked in. Once that bounce is done, you can't change them. You can change the other players that you have.
The main reason that they do the partial lockout is because the clubs that are playing on the Sunday
They
don't get named until just before about
Friday
half an
night.
hour before
Friday
the bounce on the Friday night.
Yeah, Friday
So
night.
it gives you a chance, just in case you've got a team that you've got a player from, and this is just round 1. Sorry, I was getting it up. So if you've got a player from round 1 from the GWS or Adelaide Crows, it gives you a chance, if said player isn't played, so hasn't been named in the squad, to fix it up so that you've got enough, so you are fielding a full side.
Yeah. So the changes that I made to the side and what I did, the first one I did was Charlie Constable. He was in the midfield, so I put him in the defence, and I put Charlie Constable in the defence, which would give me a spot in the midfield to pick. So he's a dual position player. He's a defender midfield. That means you can swap him from the defence to midfield and back to defence as many times as you want, because he's a dual position player. You don't have to leave him in the defence. You can shift him down into the midfield to get another defender, or you can, if you have him in the midfield, you can shift him to the defence to give yourself a midfield. So what I basically did, I put Comfortable from the midfield and I put him straight up to the defence to give me an extra play to pick.
You do round 6, I think it is. They release...
Just after round 6 or round 8, round about then, between 6 and 8, you'll get your first drop of dual position players. So those players that only have one position, like defence or a midfield, there's a likelihood
Tom Mitchell from Collingwood, at the moment he is solely a midfielder, but there is a likelihood that, and I only picked him because it was the first time it popped up.
It goes on how much percentage they play in that position, and it goes on championship data, and that rallies it out how much time they played in that position, whether they be eligible to gain a dual position.
Yeah.
So what I did, I put Charlie Constable from Gold Coast from the midfield, and I had him in the midfield, but then I said, I can do something different here. I'll put him in the back line to give me a another position player in the midfield to pick from. And what I did, I went Charlie Constable back to the defence, and I picked Ken McKenzie, who was a rookie who played very, very well against Collingwood. I truly believe he will play in round 1.
Yes.
Right? But what I also did in the defence after getting Jones and Young out, I got Elliot Yeo in from the West Coast Eagles, and I got Rhett Montgomery. Now, I don't know if Rhett Montgomery's going to play, but he's there now. Right? He's there now. In the defence, what I've done for what Shay's team, in the midfield, I took out Mills, Menegola and Willis. And what I did is, for Mills, I put in Jack McRae from the Western Bulldogs. I also got James Warple. Now, James Warple is cheap for a reason. He was injured last year, and also he didn't play many games last year. But also another reason why he's cheap, his price has dropped due to he was playing out of position. Now he's playing back on the ball in the midfield. He played so well against Collingwood. right, so well. And I truly believe he's one of the reasons he's going to be a smoky this year, which I believe he's going to go up. He's going to be a smoky Warple. And then I've got Jack McRae, Warple, and the other guy that I got in the midfield is Finn Callahan from GWS. He's cheap and whatnot, and I believe he will be a value player. He will increase in price. So I've got Callahan from GWS in the midfield for now.
We didn't touch the ruck because there's no point at the moment.
And
hang on. I just want to say something about the ruck. So, last season, the aim of the ruck line was to end up with my brain's fried again.
Well, Gawn and Grundy.
Yeah, Gawn and Grundy. There's a slight problem with that this year. There's no point going for Gawn and Grundy and making sure you've got both because they're now both playing for the same team.
And when they play after Collingwood, Melbourne has to bye. Therefore, if you have Gawn and Grundy, it'll be absolutely pointless to have them in your side together when that game after they play Collingwood, they go on a bye. Therefore, you're down 2 players. You have
automatically, straight off the bat, you're down 2.
You have no ruck line. But there is a possibility that both Gawn and Grundy could get a dual position player this year, and they can get a forward. And if that's the case, keep an eye on it. If they do get it, that is a possibility that you can have either Gawn or Grundy or even both in your forward line. Which that I'd love to see that happen. But anyway, in the forward line, I took out Dan McDay from Collingwood and Pedler. And basically what I did, I got Errol Goulden in from Sydney, which basically he got the highest points in fantasy points in the pre-season game last weekend. He got 177 fantasy points. That's a good score. And he's a dual position player. He's a midfield forward. But I put him in the forward line for now. I'll put Goulden in the forward line. And also another rookie. I put Ulvin Davey from Essendon, and I put him in the forward line. And I kept Harry Shizzles there for a second. But once again, I haven't done any changes on the bench. And some of these rookies that's on the field now will probably end up on the interchange bench once we get closer to the season starts next week.
And we may end up getting rid of some of these higher priced players to be able to get better.
So at the moment, last week we didn't have any money in the salary cap, but now we've got $3,000 still remaining in the salary cap. So you need some money in the salary cap to make your trade after that. But if the more money you have in your salary cap, it's better, but you don't want to spend it all at once. You want to be able to minimise the trade and have a structure, what your structure is. And at the present time, we're just focusing on who will actually get picked rather than worrying about the structure. After round 1, you start to pick a structure and you can fix up your mistake that you made in the first week. But right now, this is just basically trying to get your team started, and then hopefully by the time round 1 comes, you get a decent score and you see where your players are at, and then you can make your changes accordingly after that. But this is just a summary of what the team is going to look like in round 1, and if there's any other changes like the bench or any of the rookies that we've picked and they're not get picked, we'll have to make some changes then, and hopefully it's not too dramatic of a change. But yeah.
You want to go into the vice captain and captain? Not the loophole, but how the vice captain and captain bit
So
works.
you can play fantasy, you can pick a captain and a vice captain. Now, the captain, you can, like, we've got Laird, we've got the captaincy on him at the moment. What that means is that once you put a captaincy on a player, the points double. So let's say that leg gets 150 and you put a captaincy on him, he gets 300 points for your fantasy team. Right? Now, on the other hand, when you have the vice-captain loophole, let's say that Jack McRae is playing the Thursday night. Well, actually, let's go to round one. So we got Richmond versus Carlton, and we've got, at this present time, we've got Sam Doherty for Carlton as a vice-captain. Now, if he gets a 120, you can either say, all right, I'll put the vice-captain loophole, and that what the vice-captain loophole is, any player that's on the interchange bench that does not play, you can put the captaincy on him and also put him on the field.
You've got to put, so you've got to put the player, so you say, for example, Campbell Chaser from West Coast doesn't play. What you can do is you could take Jordan Dawson off, put him on the bench, make him an emergency, which means that his score will still count. Put Campbell Chaser onto the field and put him as the captain. Because if your captain doesn't play, the vice-captain score is the score that gets doubled. And that's where a lot of teams, a lot of people will use that to their advantage. They will take that vice-captain loophole into account.
It's like last year when we went to Scott Petterbury's 350th game and we had the vice-captain on Laird. He got over 150, I think he did. And at half-time, we were at the game here in Adelaide because Collingwood were playing Adelaide. And I was checking the scores and I was saying to Shay, right, use the vice-captain loophole, and we did it. We did it at half-time because I knew that Lee was going to score well, and he ended up did. He played well. I put the vice-captain loophole. I took a player off the field and put a non-playing player on the bench onto the field, made him the captain, and I got the double the point that Lee got that game against Collingwood, and it got me like 300 and something points, whatever it was.
And it was simply because we could, you start to pick up as the season goes along, and you do unfortunately have to sit there and watch them, or at least keep an eye on the Dream Team. Now, this is what I want. Sorry, it's just got to load. So I am going to show you guys what we're talking about. Okay. So this is the match centre. Now this was
last weekend.
This was one of the practice matches. Now you can see here we've got the. I'm just going to put them in the right order. We've got the player statistics. Now.
AFL Fantasy.
As you can see, you've got AFL Fantasy points. And I don't know why it was out of order, but it should be in order of who's got the most points going down. You do want to keep an eye on this for each game. So if, for example, I'm actually going to go to a go matches, fixtures, because this will give me round one. So when it loads, alright, so okay. So these two games here, you've got Melbourne versus Western Bulldogs and Gold Coast Suns versus Sydney Swans. You are going to spend a large percentage of the time going back and forth between these two because of the way they are set up. So, and the times that you're seeing are our local time, so the South Australian time, and
some of the games that you want to watch on free-to-air, it doesn't get played on free-to-air, it gets played on cable TV or KO, right? So let's say, for instance, that you want to watch the Suns versus Sydney. So it may not be showed in your capital city, and they'll show the Melbourne and Brisbane game, Melbourne and Bulldogs game instead. But you want to see how your players going in the Suns versus the Swans. you'll have to go on your device.
You have to go on your device or the computer. Yeah. Go to Match Center. Now, it's not going to show me a lot because it's not
played
yet.
Yeah.
But you will be, as I said,
they won't have it there yet.
But you can go to the player stats and it will give you... that's why, because it's got that.
There's no point there.
There's no points at the moment, but that will show you how those players are going. And yes, I know it's a massively long list.
So for those people overseas, you got the first thing that we're looking at is the AFL Fantasy, and right next to it, the J stands for goals, the B stands for behind. Like you missed a goal, you get a point. The D means disposable, and that breaks it down after that. How many kicks, how many hand passes, how many marks, how many tackles, how many hit outs. That's the ruck, that's the tap out.
So the hit outs is for your ruck. Total clearance.
Yep, total clearance. Meters gained, goal assist, and time on ground percentage.
Now, you really...
You have to look at the time on ground. It was like... Let's say, for instance...
Hang on.
Let's say, for instance, that you have a player like Nick Dacos, like we do. And basically, he's doing poorly. But then you go and look at it and you break it down. Why is he doing poorly? Is he injured? Is he getting a lot of exposure on him and that? The thing that you need to look at is the time on ground. If he's spending a minimum... time on ground, it might fluctuate his score. So, yeah.
Hang on, I am...
That's another thing you look at.
Yes. Come on. Why are you... Thank you. So, I'm bringing it up in one that you can actually see it properly. So, Josh Dacos, Nick Dacos' brother. His AFL fantasy points were 105.
He's got 1 goal, 1.
1 goal, 1 behind.
26 disposals.
18 of those were kicks, 8 handballs, 9 marks, tackles. He laid 1 tackle. He doesn't play because he's not the ruck. Total clearance 1. Meters gained. He did 639 meters gained. 1 goal assist, and he spent 87% of the time on the ground, which is why his score is the way it is. And you do need to take that into account.
The time on ground.
The time on ground you need to take into account. The rest of it, not so much. But, the goal and behind, you don't necessarily need to... It's good to see it, and a lot of people do use it, but it's not a necessity to keep track of that sort of stuff.
So that Cam McKenzie, I put him in the outside. He's a rookie. Right? He got 92 fantasy points, 1 goal, 24 possessions, 13 kicks, 11 hand pass, 5 marks, 3 tackles. Total clearance, he's a clearance play, got 4 clearance, 487 metres gained, 2 goal assists, and he only spent 73% on the ground.
And then you've got someone like James Sicily, who got 87, and he spent 93% of the time on the ground. Now the fact that he only got 87 could mean a couple of things, and generally speaking, it means that they've been what they call tagged out.
No, 93.
Because he spent 93% of the time on the ground.
He's a defender.
Yes.
And defenders
generally don't tend to kick goals or behind, but he still should have been his score should have been a bit higher than that.
No, well, it does, but that's an okay score. It all depends when most of the game is being played. If the contest is in the midfield, the defenders and forwards don't really get that much thing. They've got to get themselves involved in the game. McStay played in the forward line.
Okay. This is what you figured there was somewhere that I could figure this out. Okay, Daniel McStay for Collingwood scored 40. Okay, could have been better. 2 goals, 1 behind, 7 disposals. Now he's in the forward line, and he spent 92% of the time on the field.
Yeah,
so he should have been a lot higher up.
No, because it's a sole position. I've said this in fantasy. If you pick a sole forward, which Dan McDay is, solely a forward, where do they get most of their points from, being a forward?
In the forward line, yeah.
Getting a goal. They don't really tackle that much. They don't really get that many disposals. Their main goal is to get the goal or get the mark, kick, goal, right? So you get a mark, well, you get a kick, sorry, that's 3 points. You get a mark, that's another, 3 points? And then you get a goal, that's 6. So it's almost 9 points.
True.
Right? And forwards only rely on getting a mark, kick, and scoring a goal.
Okay.
All the other, that's why in that, like I used to play AFL, right?
And this comes in handy.
This is where my mindset is. They're two different games if you're a fan of football. There's the AFL game that you're watching and know what that's about. Like you're a Collingwood supporter, you want Collingwood to win. You watch the game as a Collingwood supporter, not really worrying about the fantasy side of things. Right? I've got a hair. But anyway, you watch that and you say, oh, the team played well. But there's another side where you look at the AFL fantasy stuff and you break that down, like how many points does a tackle is. That's 4 points, by the way, mind you. Right? How many points is for a mark? How many points is for a kick, a hand pass, and so forth? They're two separate games, and this is what I try to say to anybody. You got to try and separate the two games. There's a fantasy game, which can do a lot of people's head in, and there's the AFL game that you normally watch, right? And there's two separate games, and what I try to do, I try to combine the both. So you're saying Dan McDay, oh yeah, he spent 92% of the time on the ground, but he only got 40 fantasy points. That's the sole reason he's a general forward, and his goal is to kick goals. He doesn't move around as much.
All right, Billy Frampton.
He's a defender.
Defender? Okay. Sorry, guys. I am trying to find a midfielder that's got a decent amount of time on ground but a relatively low score. Like AFL, a relatively low fantasy points. Bramble?
No, he's bored.
Okay. We can look at Pendlebury. He for 52% of the time on ground, he did really well.
That's a low percentage for Pendlebury.
Time on ground?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a low percentage of time on ground.
He spent most of the time on the bench. Yes. Well, actually, normally only played half a game.
Yes, but still, for half a game, 57 points, that's good. All right, Dacos. Now, yes, technically, Dacos is solely a defender.
But he played in the middle.
But most people know that watch Collingwood games, Nick Dacos really doesn't tend to spend a lot of time in the back line.
He runs.
Well,
he's doing the kickings. So when the opposition missed a goal and they've got to kick it back in, Dacos was doing the kickings. Wasn't Darcy Moore. It was Dacos, and what he does, he'll kick it to his teammate, he'll run past and get the ball back, and that's what you want. If you have a defender that does a kicking, he'll kick it to his teammate. Dacos will run past his teammate, get the ball back, and sprint down the line, kicks it again, they mark, and then it'll be like a chain. He will get about 3 or 5 possessions in like 15 seconds.
Yeah, and that's sort of what you want, especially with a defender. You want to see that kind of stuff.
But he's not actually a genuine defender. He's playing like a half-back role, and he's spending time in the midfield, like on the ball. He will probably get a drill position. Oh,
he did last year. Yeah. Round 6 last year, he went from being defender to a defender midfielder.
He will get the midfield status again.
Yeah, and
Pendlebury got the defence status last year. He won't get that this year.
No, they'll predominantly keep him.
We'll get that. But anyway, that's basically what you need to work on.
This is sort of what you need to look. This is the kind of stuff.
So Taylor Adams, he spent a lot of time. He's a midfielder, but he did spend a decent chunk in the forward line.
Yes.
And the one that I would think will happen, Taylor Adams might get a forward status, and that'll be something to watch. So I truly believe Taylor Adams. It depends how the coach, Craig McRae for Collingwood, will go ahead on it. At this present time, I'm thinking that Taylor Adams might play drill position after round 6.
All right, I'm putting our cam back on again.
Like that.
Okay, so yes, we were fixating on Collingwood because that's a team that we know pretty much inside out, and we know how they're gonna. To a degree, we do know how they're gonna work. Yeah. But getting to the whole dual position thing, you can tell quite quickly as you look at the fantasy points. You can tell.
We'll go through it a bit more detail when that comes, when the first drop comes.
Yes, but you can tell quite quickly who should be getting the dual position.
Yeah, around about round 3 or 4.
You'll know who's heading straight for a dual position.
Yeah. And also you'll start to see a little bit of a structure in your fantasy team, okay? What you're trying to aim. Like if you can't afford the player now, but you're working on getting a player, let's say for instance Andrew Brayshaw from Fremantle, at this present time is $995,000. Now some people do have him in the side, some people don't. But those people that don't actually have Brayshaw in the side, Andrew Brayshaw from Fremantle,
I'm just bringing this up so
you can work on getting him. You can make a structure how you're going to get Andrew Brayshaw into your side. At this present time, he's $995. But after round 1, well, here's the thing. After round 1, he could be $1 million if he goes above his average.
And his average score is it's 112.4.
Yeah.
And at the moment, he's owned by just under 21% of the teams that are doing fantasy have him in their side. So he's a good, decent player, and a lot of people want him. I'm going to bring up Rory Laird because he's kind of...
Rory Laird?
Yeah.
He's $1 million already.
Because he is so high.
I believe he'll average 120 again this year. And that.
The average could go up.
Yep.
But yeah, he's owned by
21.
Yeah, 21%, just over 21.5% of people have him in their side.
Those ownership percentage will go up by round 1. But
it'll go up, it'll go down, it goes all over the place. Just trying to... Okay, so I have...
That's basically it.
Rory Laird was...
You have to refresh it. I don't have Newcomb in the side.
Newcomb? Yeah, you do.
Jay Newcomb. Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, we're just refreshing this because he doesn't believe it.
I don't know Jay Newcomb in the side. There you go. Jack McRae.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah.
Alright. So, by the looks of it...
Yeah, Callum Mills is another player to look at, you know. The thing is, you're not going to have every single player in your side that you want. It's just not possible. You can't have them all.
It's not possible to have your entire... At this point, it is not possible to have all 23 players, that you've got either on the actual field or on the bench, which is why I'm saying it's 23 because you've got the utilities player too. There's no way that you can have them all be top tier players. It just... No. You can't.
No one really starts off like that. You've got to build your team up and you've got to make a structure. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and yeah.
Sorry, I'm just having a look here because I got. Yeah, I still think that's wrong. Yeah, I still think that's wrong. Okay, yeah, no. He is. Okay. Rory Laird is the most expensive player.
Yeah.
And he's the first player to crack $1 million within AFL Fantasy.
And we did it last year. There were 2 players that was over $1 million.
That was by the end of the season.
No, at the start of last year, there were 2 players in fantasy that was over $1 million.
There was?
There was Jack Steele and Toot Miller.
Okay.
Jack Steele from St Kilda and Miller from Gold Coast. They're over $1 million, both of them. They're not $1 million. They're just 978 and 972. But anyway, Rory Laird is $1 million. But like I said, if Andrew Brayshaw, he's 995. If he gets over his average in round 1 and plays well, he can be $1 million after round 1.
Yes.
He'll go up 5-10 grand, and that's $1 million.
And you will find that by the end of the season,
And here's the thing: if Brayshaw does get $1 million after round, how people who don't have him now, how players going, like players in the fantasy, how are they going to afford him if they want him? Let's say that Brayshaw gets a 130, 140, right, against St Kilda. I'm not saying he will, but just say hypothetically, if Brayshaw gets a 130, 140 in round 1, and those people that don't have him, he will go up to $1 million after round 1. How will the other coaches be able to afford him?
Which is where this whole salary cap comes into play. A lot of teams going into round 1 will have a large amount of remaining salary cap solely so that if, like you said, Brayshaw hits over $1 million, they've got enough there if they take out another player that's not doing quite as well.
Before we go, next week leading up to the season starts, we have to tell them about the break-evens. That is another whole discussion.
The eyes, trust me, that gets confusing.
That break-even plays a major part in fantasy because your player has to go above that break-even. Let's say, for instance, a player has to break even, say, 90.
Yep.
If your player does not get 90 in that week, his price goes down. But if he goes above 90, there's that inflation increase where he can go up 1,000, 5, 10, depends how well he plays. But the one that I really look at when it comes to break even is the rookies. If they do absolutely well, let's say Nick Dacos, right? He got 100 in his first game last year against Geelong, right? His break even went into the negatives. So basically, doesn't matter if he gets injured, and thank goodness he didn't, but doesn't matter what he got, his value goes up an extra $10,000, $20,000 because he had the minus 27 as a break even, right? Or something like that. I remember there was a player that was like negative 100 or something, or close to it.
Sorry, I'm looking at my own dream team here.
Well, you don't have to worry about that.
Oh, we're going to have to do some fluffing about with mine.
Don't worry about yours.
But I just want to bring this up with the salary remaining stuff that we were talking about. So my team value is 15.4 million at the moment. I've got a remaining salary cap of 76,000.
That's basically what you want.
And that's kind of what you want. You want a decent amount, but you don't want it to be too much, because if it's too much, then you're doing something wrong.
No, they're going to have it. No, I mean, the way I say it, this is my reaction to it. If you got that $300,000 in your salary cap after round 1, it's up to you whether you want to spend it or not. But if they're going to blow it out, by the time they come to the buy round, they say, oh, I can't do any more trades. I've got the players I want. I ran out of money, blah, blah, blah. And then they go from a well-position in the fantasy comp, and then they start to fall down again. So you just want to build it as a foundation. But I've seen other fantasy coaches that'll have a vanilla type of side. They don't really start off well, but they come home like a wet sail, and they just skyrocket up around near the buy round because all these other coaches that just wasted their money and didn't actually plan ahead. We got the buy round. Oh, what about those injuries? Or what about those people that have been suspended and so forth? And when you have multiple players out and you only got 2 trades to make, they scratching their heads, go, my team, I can't field a full side this week. And I've been in that situation due to injury, where I had about 5 or 6 players out injured and you only got 2 trades, and it's like you hope to have the players on the bench to cover them. But even saying that, if they're a rookie and don't do well, likelihood they're getting dropped that next week. So
it does make things interesting.
Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna wrap this up today.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this, so please, if you haven't already liked us, give us a thumbs up, smash that like button. Also, we've got a ton of stuff happening behind the scenes. Apparently, if you're those people that haven't caught on yet, apparently I've got a surprise coming in the next 48 hours from this broadcast.
He's got 2 sleeps to go before he finds out what it is. And that doesn't mean I'm telling him directly as we get up in the morning. He's still going to have to wait until we head out before I actually tell him what's going on.
And for those people that are asking, did I indeed hit the poll while I was on the flying fox? Yes, I did hit the poll. That was in real time, and Shay didn't actually give me any nursing love. She was basically But yeah, I did hit the poll, and for those people that are saying, James, did you end up getting the ball in the basketball hoop on the first go? Yes, we had 2 cameras working at the same time. We had somebody else
with us at the time who we used their phone to record from another angle.
We had 2 cameras. One was focused on me, one was focused on the backboard and the hoop, and yes, I kicked it and it went in on the first go. So it was a lucky shot, and it happened. So yeah, there were 2 cameras working at the same time, and that was captured in real time.
Because I'd realised a couple of days beforehand, before I wanted to try it properly, that anything that I was doing with the camera, I'd lose track of the ball. So by having somebody standing relatively close to the actual hoop and have their camera solely fixated on the hoop meant that we could actually get the shot if he got it, and he did. Can I just say something? For those of you that are watching this and with these, when we're actually on the screen, you can see us on the screen, so we're recording on the screen. If you see me rocking back and forth or shifting around, or you hear me shifting around a lot, there is an episode coming fairly soon, not 100% sure when yet, that will explain why. I've got some medical issues that mean that I can't sit still for long, but we will go into more detail about that, just so that you guys can understand that, okay, yeah, there is a legitimate reason. Predominantly, I threw my back out the other day trying to get the footage of Ness.
Just before we wrap it up, please watch the shorts as well. The shorts on there. So we are going to boost up the shorts a little bit. There are going to be some reactions coming, and it's going to be fun. And also, there's going to be other stuff happening. There's so many things in the pipeline behind the scene. someone had challenged me so far to do a dragon fruit.
To eat dragon fruit.
Yeah.
So if you want Jamie to eat specific fruits or vegetables that are classified as exotic or whatever, however you want to put it.
Oh, there is a food challenge coming up.
Hang on, I'll get to that in a second. If you guys want to see him do that, you are going to have to give me a list and you're going to have to bear with us. Because here in Australia, or here in South Australia more to the point, the central market, which is where we have to go to get most of this stuff, they're in the process of completely renovating that. So they're not exactly 100% going to be easy to get. And also, we have to take into account the fact that I believe dragon fruit's about to go out of season. Most fruit and veg places here, you if you go into them, you're shopping the seasons. So, especially over in the US, if you've got a fruit that you think you should try, let me know. And I will see if it's in season here. If it's not in season here, it will get added to the list and will get done at some point.
Yeah.
Also, most people know he loves his spicy food.
Yeah.
Like, loves his spicy food.
Oh, yeah.
I, for medical reasons, actually can't have spicy food.
So down the road from where we are, we've got this Mediterranean cuisine restaurant, and every Monday they have 50 crispy chicken wings every Monday. I'm going to eat 50 chicken wings, but there's a little bit of a twist to it.
We will be I've got to find out if we can do it as takeaway, because if we can get them as takeaway, we'll do that. We'll bring them home and we'll set it up that 25 of them will be as that they will be as done by the restaurant.
150.
Now, hang on, you're getting 50. 25 of them will be as the restaurant makes them. The other 25 will go up in varying degrees of hot sauce.
I do have the Carolina Reaper.
Yes, he does.
I do have another one called, and excuse me for the language, but exactly on the
title
bottle.
On the bottle.
Called Crap the Bed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's SH.
Yeah. Called Crap the Bed. I've also got all these other, like a garlic hot sauce. Got all these. I've got about 6 or 7 of them. Also got some other stuff in the cupboard that we're going to be used during this year as well. Especially when it comes to winter time, I start making up my stock pots, and I put my hot spices in. And what I do, I cook it up, and I make some packages, and I put them in the freezer, and I've used that for a food supply over there. But all that's coming.
We will do a video that in.
Yeah, all that's coming. But once again, just to wrap up, please smash that like button. Please subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. And most importantly, the last final two things, share it amongst your friends, and also leave a comment underneath the videos as well.
Okay, I'm just bringing up our page for a second, because what I want to do, and hopefully it, no, it's not. Okay, there we go. Alright, I just want to show you guys, and I'm just double checking that you can, okay, you go.
Take the video off?
No, video's fine there. So this subscribe button, when you hit that button, which is usually red, you will see that you've got all, you've got personalised, and you've got none. Now what you want to do to make sure you see all videos is you want to be notified every time we go live, or we add up a new short, or we add a new full video like this. What you want to do is hit the all button. So when you subscribe, you go, click it down again and go all. Now that is because if you don't do that, it will get to the point where it won't show you. It won't notify you that we've uploaded a new video. So you won't be, you'll see it too late sort of thing. So yeah, just make sure you hit the all button once you've subscribed, because that will give you all the videos.
Yeah.
So every time we upload, it'll send you a notification that we've uploaded a new video, so you can sit down and watch it and like it.
Oh well, that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Alright. Please continue to watch. There's going to be some more content coming and whatnot. And yeah, let's all have some fun. And you'll come on a journey with us. Alright. We'll catch you on the next one.
Alright, thanks guys. Bye.